For more, let's speak now to Bodo Weber, a senior associate at Democratization Policy Council, the Democratization Policy Council, joins us now live from Berlin. Thanks so much for speaking to us, Bodo. We appreciate it. So tell us first, what are the EC's principal recommendations here?
Well, first of all, pleasure being with you. The basic recommendations, I would say, concentrate on three countries. That is, on the one side, Albania and Macedonia, or Northern Macedonia, and Bosnia-Herzegovina on the other side. So on Albania and Macedonia, the main recommendations are the same as the recommendations of the Commission last year, to open accession negotiations with both countries without further conditions to be fulfilled. That is in the upcoming June decision by the European Council. On Bosnia-Herzegovina, this year, because of the application for candidate status of Bosnia-Herzegovina this year, the Commission has not presented a traditional country report for the country, but a so-called more broader, more in-depth analytical report, and it has presented in its opinion on the application for candidate status. That opinion includes basically two things. One is the Commission has refrained from giving a recommendation to the Council on the approval of candidate status, nor has it presented any conditions or suggested any conditions, while it has presented a very broad set of conditions and reform priorities for Bosnia to open accession negotiations. That means it has presented a set of conditions for the second step to follow and not give any recommendation or taking any position on the first step, which is granting candidate status to Bosnia and Herzegovina, thus entirely leaving it to the member states.
Right. So essentially it is good news for Albania and North Macedonia. But let me ask you, I mean, will the rest of the EU Parliament be happy about that, given the growth of EU skeptics in Parliament?
Well, you know, I mean, yes, there is a growth of populist forces and nationalist forces that are in general enlargement skeptic. But overall, you know, the decision on whether this positive opinion on, let's say, for example, Northern Macedonia and Albania will be accepted by the European Council rests with the member states, and their also the question of the credibility of the EU's enlargement policy when you look at from the EU side of fulfilling their obligations. Because you may remember that a year ago, the Commission already had given a recommendation to open accession negotiations with both then still Macedonia and Albania, but it was primarily French President Macron and his enlargement skepticism, seconded by the Netherlands and Denmark, that prevented that decision. That decision was postponed to June this year, that is until after the European parliamentary election, and currently there's still an ongoing struggle whether the French president and the French Republic, the French government, will meet up to their promises from last year when the compromise deal was struck on opening accession negotiations with those countries, and whether a June opening date is at all possible. So,
let me ask you, though, there's also mention in this report of Chinese investment in the Western Balkans. How much is that at odds with what the EU wants in the bloc?
There's some sound.
Unfortunately, it seems we've lost connection with Bodo Weber. If we can join him later in the program, we will try. If not, we will leave it there. And thank you, Bodo Weber, so much for joining us.